Hello guys and welcome to Beginner's Guide Factorio. Today we're going to be changing this into a advanced oil refinery. So stay tuned for the video and I'll show you the blueprints that I've made for it and how to do it. Alright guys, so we today are going to be looking at changing this into our this one. Basically an advanced oil refinery. And the reason we do this is because you actually get more like petroleum, what's it called, this out of it. You get more petroleum gas out of it on top of making other liquids that we're going to need, basically. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of all this, and it will stop a few things. If you guys want to just kind of skip ahead and do your own thing, that's totally fine. I'm going to leave that going for a bit because these are still full and they're feeding these here, which is obviously making our sulfur and plastic, which is going off to our base to make circuit boards and other items. But for now, I'm just going to get rid of these. We're going to need our water line. That's fine as it is. Now, let's just ditch a load of this. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying the videos so far. I plan on making them a bit better, try and put a bit more effort into the editing, and kind of stepping up the game. Now, this is going to look a bit daunting. I'm going to import the string. This is from my other game, because what I do with these videos, guys, is I make these videos and then I have an exact duplicate world which I'm playing alongside on, in which I go off and I try other things in order to come back and make the tutorials for you. So we're going to import this. It looks daunting, so we're just going to chuck this. I don't know what oil. There seems to be a lot of stuff missing from this book. I'm gonna fill this book back up for you. There seems to be a lot of stuff missing from that book. Right, so it is in the book now. We can go and grab it, and as you can see, it is quite big. It is quite big, and it has a lot of things. There's a lot of things. So we're going to need to make some space for it. I'm going to need to make some space. I'm going to try and take over this area. We're going to be able to fit it in. You don't have to make it as big as I've made it. It's kind of a just that's how big I've made it thing. Right, let's just ditch everything. Start from a blank area where we have just oil. You still need to keep your oil going. If you're on the same map as me, or you found a bigger oil patch like this one, for instance, great, because that's going to be useful. The two things you're going to need are oil and water, and obviously electricity. I might as well shut these off for a bit. Actually, no, we'll keep them there. We'll keep them there. They're fine. They're fine as they are. Now you may need to go back to and from your base a little bit just to get resources, but or you can just count up what you need and go with that. Right, let's see if it'll fit now. I haven't tried it over here. It is very large. We've got a pipe in the way here. Okay, let's try again. Now, I'm trying to fit it in. It's been a little bit of a pain. It will fit. There you are. Perfect. Right. Now, as you can see, it requires a lot of stuff. Where did I just take away? Did I just take a... There we are. It requires a lot of pipes. It's going to require a lot of underground pipes, a lot of drums, a lot of chemical plants, basically. If you actually go to the ingredients on the recipe, it'll tell you exactly what it needs. If you right click it, it tells you along here everything you're going to need. So you can make sure you bring this many things, and I'll probably say bring more pipes along with it. If you want to build this exact setup, this is scaled pretty high up. You can set this up and it will run without needing to touch it for a while. And what's going to happen is these at the top are going to basically refine your oil into 3 different liquids. You're going to have petroleum, you're going to have, I believe, light oil comes out of here, and heavy comes out of here. Is that the order it comes out in? Let's just find out. What we're going to do now is we're going to show you how these go from being a basic oil processing into an advanced oil processing. So on every single one of these, we're going to come in and click that. So if yours was already set up like this, just come into it, click the cog, click that option, and you'll suddenly see it needs oil and water. And what it will produce is heavy oil, light oil, and petroleum. And they'll come out in these sections, and I'll explain. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory how these work, the undergrounds, and why I make it like come out. That one comes out 1, that's 2, that's 3 in the design. If you're interested in why I make it look like that, also it looks good. Pretty much, rather than having 2 lines come this way and then just feed them in. Because some people do this, like some people have like a line just purely with oil going in, and then a line with water, and say they've got to go into like there's I'm actually going to put them in line with these. So say that's 1 point and that's another point. Some people will just come along and they'll go, well, that to there, and then that to there, and then of the refinery underneath. So you can do that, but I don't really like this method. It just doesn't look as good for me. Right. So what you need to do is we need to connect up the items. Quick tip: if you press Shift and right click on an item, and you just hold Shift and left click on everything else, it'll automatically copy the recipe into it. I haven't shown you guys that yet, but if you wanted to know, there it is. So what we need to do is we need to take water and get water coming down this line here, which is linked in through this pipe here. And considering we have a water feed here, we'll just take that there and drop that there. That's fine. It's not beautiful, it's not neat, but there's our water feed. So it's got water. It has water. Then what we need is we need oil in this one. So we need to bring our oil feed up here. And there you go. Right. So it's going to work now. From this point on, it's going to be working. These pumps are literally just to make sure that this is pumping at full pace. That's all they're doing. So you don't need to do anything, just make sure they're next to a power line. These are totally fine. So let's go through how this works. So you got your oil refinery going along here. Totally fine. So this brings out petroleum, light oil, and heavy oil. 3 different types. Now, that's totally cool. I just realized I have missed some pipes. There we go. So, as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm storing petroleum in these, ready to get sent off and used as whatever we want to do with them. In this one, we have light oil, which is just storing them as a bit of a buffer. And this is heavy oil, storing it as a buffer. And the 4 tracks are coming down here. The 4 tracks are because we also have water coming down as well, in case you want water for anything. So coming out the end of each one of these with a pump, just to make sure it's pulling it down, is a pipe full of heavy oil, a pipe full of light oil, a pipe full of petroleum, and a pump full of water. And then there's this blank one, which is going to be for something else in a sec. Now, you'll notice I've put a few pumps here and here, and there's all these chemical plants. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, why have you got all this? Well, this system stops working if these buffers fill up. So you could, yes, you could continuously make endless tanks, but if you're not doing anything with this, it will fill up, and then it'll stop this being made, it'll stop petroleum being made, it'll stop everything being made. So you have to do a process called cracking. So cracking is what we're going to do is when we convert something into something else. So in this one, I believe what we're going to do is we're going to crack this, we're going to crack heavy oil cracking. So what this is going to do is this is going to produce light oil. So what that's doing now is it's taking heavy oil from this line, putting it mixed with water, and bringing it back out onto the line here. And it's just light oil. So that's connected to its drums via that point there. So it's joining this. So any heavy oil is going down, going into here via this line, mixing with water, and coming out as light oil, which is great. So now we have more light oil, but now light oil is going to fill up very fast. It's going to fill up faster than heavy because like we're like, okay, well, we're dealing with heavy because that's going down now. If you look on the right hand side, it's going down, but this is going up. This hasn't been touched. This is going up, and this is going up, but this one's going down. So next section, we go light oil cracking. So we make more petroleum out of light oil. So because we're going to have a lot of light oil, because the light oil comes out of this as well. So we're making heavy oil turn to light oil turn to petroleum. So now what we should see is the light oil is quite high at the moment. There's quite a lot of it. Let's just let's get rid of these. If you destroy a tank, by the way, you lose anything that's within it. I don't want to make any more. Right, so now you can see it's still going up a little bit. It's actually going up, but we've made loads of these. So you're thinking, okay, well, why is it going up? And the heavy oil is nearly run out. So what's going to happen in a second is the heavy oil is going to run out, and I'm going to show you another thing. The last one, which is something that we use heavy oil for, and we need heavy oil, it's lubricant. And lubricant doesn't need any like parameters, it just needs heavy oil put into it, going through a chemical plant, and it comes out as lubricant, which we then send off on our 5th pump. Now we're going to need that for making robots. When you make robots, if you're not already researching down to robotics, guys, you're going to need it. Because when you make a robot, which is here, not necessarily all that. Is it this one? Yeah, I believe it's this. Is it this? You need batteries for this. One of these. Yeah, right. So the engines need lubricant. When you make electric engines, not normal engines like before, you need lubricant, in which case you need this to be working. And this needs heavy oil. So as you can see, this is just about to run out. It's going very low, and then it's coming back up. So this isn't doing anything. So when these aren't breathing smoke, they're not doing anything. So we need a way of making this kind of work for us. And this is where this wire is going to come in. Have I run out of... I've run out of copper. I'm just going to go and nick some copper from up here. So this is the first bit of circuitry you're ever going to do on this game, probably. And it's going to be extremely basic. it's going to be extremely basic. What you're going to do is you're going to come down to these drums here, click on a drum, go up to the next drum, click on that, go up to the next drums, click on that, and then bring it over to this pump. Now this is the one that's connected to the light oil, so it's the one that comes out of the top feed. Just connect it to the pump, so not anything else. The pump, make sure the pump's yellow, click it. Okay, and then press Q, come down to here, click this and connect that to that pump. Okay, so now this pump, well, this wire on this pump, we have conditional statements set, which are basically going to turn these on and off. And you'll see why that's important. So we need to be able to balance between these items pretty well, because we always want to kind of have stuff working for us. So this one, which is saying pull the petroleum out of here, this is going to say when the light oil is greater, so it's this option. So you select light oil, you go into the menus, come over to here, click light oil. When light oil is greater than petroleum, that will turn it on. Okay? So when the light oil in these tanks, because it's connected to this tank here, when the light oil is greater than petroleum, I believe, turn it on. And what that should do then is it should pull anything that's in there out onto the pipe here. This one is saying when the heavy oil is greater than the light oil. So what that's basically saying is when we have more heavy oil than we do light oil, use what's going. So it will take stuff out of there and start pulling it out of here. So if this isn't turned on, imagine this is just like being blocked off, like it's not connected. So that wouldn't be connected like that. If that's not connected and can't do anything, this will just fill up to the maximum here. So this will just fill up. So this is going to continue working for a while. So it won't work straight away because these hold a fair bit. So this will fill up to whatever the maximum is. And then it won't do anything else because it doesn't know how to... Well, it's got nowhere to put the pipe because this isn't going to request it. Because these pipes can only hold so much. So that's already full. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. So these are all full at the moment. As you can see, that pipe is not full because this isn't actually letting anything through. You can see because the little lines on it aren't doing anything, and also the light is red. So yes, these are going to continue to work. They are 199, 199, 199. So the heavy oil that's going in here can't go anywhere. So when these now fill up, they're just going to go down the line and come into here. And they're going to start filling this up. You don't actually need pumps. I don't know why I put pumps here. So just forget I put pumps there. You don't need pumps on that line. So these are just going to be your... Just realise that you can't have the pipes coming out like all the same because they're next to each other. You can't have them all the same. But yeah, if you just do that, that's fine. So you can see what's coming out. So we've got water, petroleum, light oil, heavy oil, and lubricant. So the lubricant's just going to fill up this tank. It's not going to worry about anything. And these are going to go. Is this one still going? I guess is this still filling these up? No, you're at full. You're at full, I guess, nearly. Yeah, pretty much. Right, so that should kick into gear now. That should start working. So these should kind of self-balance. They should just hover around. They shouldn't ever really fill up. This one will fill up. because this is the one that you'll end up using more than anything, because it makes all your circuit boards, because you send this off to other chemical plants to mainly use your circuit boards. If this completely fills up, the whole system stops working still, so make sure you're actually using it than not just leaving it. And when you need to use it, come down to the bottom and just take them off these feeds. I'm just trying to make this a bit better. So yeah, you can like kind of manipulate it around your pumps that are here. Normally you'd build it not right. So if you want to build this somewhere different, go for it. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the petroleum down to here. Bring it across and join it back up with these factories. Right, there you go. There you go. Right, so what's happened here is the light oil is that equal to or greater than it's whatever that is. So basically what that's doing now is it's requesting heavy oil. So if the heavy oil is less than the light oil, so if this tank in particular has less in it than this tank, it will start producing more, and it's already produced enough to stop it doing it. We've got one more tank. Let's just chuck it on. There. So that should kick this back up again. There you go. The green light comes on and this goes off again, because it's trying to fill this up more than it is this. It's using this material to fill this one up. This one is using this material to fill this one up. So it works in a chain reaction. Basically, if you don't understand the logic behind it, that's totally understandable. It takes a lot to get your head around. I've probably explained it in a really bad way. I do apologise for that. I'm just trying to give you guys the information you need to keep going with the game. But yeah, anyway guys, this is the advanced refinery. If you have plans to build robots, you're going to need this line, this line, this line, and this line. You don't really need to touch at the moment. In later game, you will. And pop that back on there, because then that will feed these machines with petroleum. Yeah, there you go. Working like a doozy. Totally cool. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. There's a lot of you who enjoy the streams by the looks of it. You come by, you watch the streams. Really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, guys. Give it a thumbs up, drop any comments, or drop me a link to how you find building this or how you'd like to build it yourself. And yeah, I'd like to share the information. Catch you next time, guys.